Hi there. Here we have an essay at level C1. Let's see. Here's the question. Okay, TEENRISK is an international organisation exploring risk-taking among teenagers. The organisation has put up a poster in your school inviting students to send in their opinion on the following statement. Everybody should take risks in their life. The best essay writers will win an adventure weekend. You've decided to take part. In your essay, argue for or against taking risks as a teenager. You should analyse a risk you or someone you know has taken. Give reasons why certain risks should or should not be taken. Examine what effects risk-taking might have on personal development. Give your essay a title. Write around 350 words. So, my title, here we go. Play it safe and you won't reach adulthood. So, play it safe and you won't reach adulthood. Yeah, I think this probably works. I've read the essay and I've read what you're trying to aim at. I'm not particularly convinced about the word reach, because reach has the idea that you're probably going to die before it. But I think you're playing on that. So you won't get to adulthood. You won't. I would almost prefer the word achieve, I think, because this is what you're getting at. Anyway, the title's fine. Recently, I came across a study which was absolutely shocking for me and speaks volumes about the state of risk-taking among teenagers. Okay, this is fine. It's not bad. I think it could probably be a little bit more succinct, but I like this came across as well, a phrasal verb. I came across a study which I would probably just change the way this is phrased, which shocked me deeply and speaks absolute volumes about the state of risk-taking among teenagers. Since the 60s, the average movement radius of children has been reduced from several kilometres to about 500 metres. So I'm looking at this noun collocation movement radius. I might say the average radius of movement of children. Okay, I've got a good word to put here. The average displacement radius of children has been reduced from several kilometres to about 500 metres. Such a drastic decline comes with grievous consequences. Okay, such a drastic comes with grievous consequences. Good. The smaller your movement radius as a youth, is the less opportunities to grow in confidence you have. Okay, so the structure's not quite right here. The smaller your movement radius as a youth is, the less opportunities you have to grow. Okay, yes. So firstly, the less opportunities you have to grow in confidence. I think I might probably try to phrase this in a different way. as the movement, okay, no, let's, when in our okay, a decrease in the movement radius of youth lessens their opportunities for growth. Grievous consequences. A decrease in the movement radius of youth lessens their opportunities for growth. Yeah, this probably reads slightly better, although I don't think yours is bad. The smaller your movement radius as a youth is, I would probably put a comma here, the less opportunities you have to grow in confidence. Okay, so I'm going to take out mine. So, to elucidate, I quite like that. Back in the days, comma, teenagers would set up tree houses in vertiginous altitudes, so at vertiginous altitudes, or they would visit a river to bathe. So to elucidate, back in the days, teenagers would set up tree houses at vertiginous altitudes, comma, or they would visit a river to bathe. So, tree houses. You've used this in the plural. Keep this in the plural as well. Or they would visit rivers to bathe. To elucidate, back in the days, yeah. And I like this would for past habit. The advantages of such activities are apparent. So, not only you need an inversion, not only do they teach, if you begin not only, you need a question form for the verb. Not only do they teach juveniles how to behave properly in nature, to behave properly. Okay, to behave properly. I would probably say how to deal with nature. Okay, not only the activities are apparent. Not only do they teach juveniles how to behave properly in nature, properly, sensibly, in nature, but they also sense in nature, but they also illustrate them. So firstly it should be illustrate to them. But also these activities illustrate, I don't think you need the to them, illustrate that they, the children, can form their environment, can form. So let's make this more interesting, that they have control over their own environment. I'm going to put a comma here. Which in turn considerably raises their levels of consequence. It's okay without levels of, it just makes it look nicer. Okay, so let's go on. It goes without saying that such adventures also bear a certain degree of risk for the involved youths, for the youths involved. So it also goes without saying that such adventures also bear a certain degree of risk for the youths involved, comma, but we must keep in mind, okay, so we must bear in mind, and then I can use carry here, but we must bear in mind that life in general is dangerous, and at one time or another everyone must face a dangerous situation. Okay, this is much better joining these with the but, because you get a complex sentence. So isn't it better to get preparation for the future when you are still young? I'd prefer while. Yeah, when's okay, but while sounds better. So isn't it better to get preparation for the future while you are still young? After all, we also teach kids at an early age to get familiar. So, to familiarize themselves with numbers, so they don't get caught off guard once they start to work in a company and are faced with calculations. To illustrate the positive effects of risk-taking at a young age, I would like to bring forward a persuasive example from my circle of friends. To put forward would sound better. A good friend of mine called Lucas decided to take a semester abroad when he was 15. Although he was very terrified. So let's see, terrified is an extreme verb. He was utterly. You need an extreme adverb. He was utterly terrified of the terrified by the notion of being in a foreign country alone beforehand. So let's move the place of this. Firstly, you need to say beforehand. Okay. So let's put this way back up alone. Although beforehand he was utterly terrified by the notion of being in a foreign country alone, he didn't regret his venture at all. Okay. So he didn't regret his venture at all. I like this word venture. Okay, let's see. This we could make sound better. There's nothing wrong with it, didn't it? So although beforehand he was utterly terrified by the notion of being in a foreign country, at no point did he regret his venture. So it gives you a nice inversion. Yeah, I'm going to leave the at all. I think at no point did he regret his venture at all. First, he became fluent in Italian because he exposed himself to a completely new linguistic and cultural environment. Second, his self-esteem grew tremendously because he was able to see that there is nothing to worry about when you leave your comfort zone. I quite like that. Eventually he came to value things in his home country far more which he took for granted in the first place. Okay, let's see. Far more. Okay. Let's see. Eventually, in other words, he became the opportunity to see things. Okay, I'm going to move this around. So, let's make this put this at the beginning. Eventually, comma, things in his home country which he took for granted began to have far more value in his eyes, in his own eyes. And let's see, in the first place, eventually things in his home country which he took for so in the first place, which he used to take for granted. So eventually, things in his home country which he used to take for granted began to have far more value in his own eyes. And then if you want to put a comma here, but I think this is looking like a comma splice, so let's put a semicolon. In other words, he became the in other words, he got the opportunity to see things from another different perspective. By this example, we can clearly see that taking risks as a juvenile is something every parent should foster, since it comes with a myriad of benefits later in later life. By this example, by is okay. Through this example, we can clearly see that taking risks as a juvenile is something every parent should foster, since it comes with a myriad of benefits in later life. Okay, it's pretty good. Let's see. What would I say? You need. Let's see. You need to be. So the vocabulary is looking better. I'm much happier with your use of adjectives and adverbs, although you need to use them correctly. I'd like to see some more ambitious constructions, such as inversions. You had several possibilities to get them to use them, but you didn't. I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of conditionals as well, yeah, and better if they can be mixed. So to give a higher range, or a better range of different structures. Okay, let's see. It reads okay, but it could be better. One other thing I would suggest as well is in many cases I see you using nouns where you could change things into verbs, for example, to familiarize. Yeah, there was another one here as well. Yeah, which shocked me deeply. Okay, so have you answered the question? Analyze a risk someone yes. Give reasons why certain risks should yes. What it might have on personal development. Fine, you've definitely answered the question. That's very good. Let's see. There are some mistakes. Although much of what I've many of the changes I've made have been to make it read better. So the cohesion's okay, but it could be better. So thank you very much. I need to give it a mark, don't I? I'm going to give it a 6.5 at level C1. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.